The year was 2017, and the world was buzzing with excitement for the Joanne World Tour. Lady Gaga was everywhere, reminding us all why she's the undisputed queen of pop performance and artistic reinvention. But then, something absolutely shocking happened that no one saw coming. Without any warning, the European leg of her tour was completely scrapped. The stadiums were sold out, the fans were already lined up in their best costumes, but the stage remained hauntingly dark. How did one of the world's most energetic performers, someone known for literally bleeding for her art and pushing every physical boundary, suddenly go completely silent? It was a moment of pure confusion and fear for the entire music industry. Imagine being at the peak of your career, with the whole world watching every move you make, and your body simply says, no more. It's the ultimate betrayal, right? Is the Mother Monster era over? That's exactly what everyone was whispering in the dark corners of the internet and on every gossip blog. Was this the end of the road for the woman who redefined what it meant to be a global pop star? This wasn't just a simple case of a sore throat or a bit of common fatigue from traveling too much. This was something much deeper and far more terrifying. We all got a glimpse into this painful reality when she released her Netflix documentary, 5'2". This wasn't your typical glossy, overproduced superstar promo designed to sell albums. It was a raw, unfiltered, and deeply uncomfortable look at a superstar in total agony. There's a scene that haunts every fan, Gaga, stripped of her makeup and glamorous stage costumes, crying on a couch because the pain in her body was so intense she couldn't even function like a normal person. It was a revelation that changed the way we saw her forever. She wasn't just a character or a performance artist, she was a human being, breaking under the weight of an invisible burden. It was truly heartbreaking to see someone so powerful look so vulnerable and defeated by her own biology. Before she officially went public with her specific diagnosis, the mystery surrounding her health was feeding a frenzy of wild rumors. Was it a secret injury from a stunt? Was it something more sinister that she was hiding from the public to protect her image? Some people were even skeptical, wondering if it was just diva behavior to get out of tour dates that weren't selling well, which we know was totally false. But those of us watching closely could see the truth in her eyes. The rumors were flying everywhere, but the reality was far more complex than any tabloid headline could ever capture. The emotional toll this took on Gaga was just as heavy as the physical pain she endured daily. We've all seen how much she loves her little monsters. For her, performing isn't just a job or a way to make money, it's a soul-deep connection. So, breaking the news that she couldn't make it to those shows felt like she was letting down her entire family. She literally broke down on camera, explaining how she couldn't even sit comfortably in a chair, let alone strap on those legendary 10-inch heels and give a 3-hour high-energy performance. She was at a true career crossroads, and it felt like the entire music industry was holding its breath. How do you go from the lightning fast, bone-breaking choreography of Bad Romance or Judas to a state where just walking across a room feels like running a marathon? It didn't seem possible for her to ever return to the level of intensity she was known for. People were genuinely worried she might have to retire from the stage forever. Before we continue this incredible journey of resilience, make sure to subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We love hearing from our global community of fans. Looking back at the timeline of that struggle, it was a brutal series of events that would have broken anyone else. From the heartbreaking Joanne World Tour cancellations to those long, eerie periods of silence where she just disappeared from the spotlight entirely. It was clear she was fighting a war behind closed doors. She had to retreat to heal, leaving behind the lights and the applause to face a journey of recovery that many industry experts thought would be impossible. The queen of the stage was suddenly a prisoner of her own body, and the world was left wondering if we'd ever see her fly again. But as we know with Gaga, the story is never as simple as it seems on the surface. The struggle was real, and the pain was terrifying, but the warrior inside her was just getting started. The world waited in silence, hoping for a miracle that seemed further away with every passing day. The silence finally broke when the word fibromyalgia started trending across every platform. For Gaga, it was her grueling daily reality. This invisible monster is a condition where the nervous system essentially malfunctions, turning up the volume on pain signals until the body feels like it's under constant attack. It was a massive shock because many people, including some medical professionals, didn't even take the condition seriously back then. They whispered that it was all in her head. But when the most famous woman on earth becomes the face of chronic pain, the conversation has to change. She gave a voice to millions suffering in silence. and the diva rumors melted away, replaced by awe at her strength. We started seeing the evidence everywhere, and it was far from glamorous. She wasn't just posting about charts, she was sharing photos from hospital beds with needles in her arms, or wrapped in silver emergency blankets to keep her muscles from seizing. There were whispers from insiders about her having intensive physical therapy sessions just to manage to stand up for a short interview or photo shoot. This wasn't diva behavior. This was a literal fight for her ability to ever walk again. It became clear that every single public appearance was a monumental victory over her own biology as she struggled to maintain her composure while her nerves were firing like a wildfire. Her little monsters watched in both terror and admiration as she shared these vulnerable moments. The physical toll of being Lady Gaga is enough to break anyone's spirit and body. For over a decade, she pushed herself to the absolute limit for our entertainment. Consider the 2017 Super Bowl, where she leaped off the stadium roof, or the years of wearing those 10-pound wigs that put immense pressure on her neck. Her skeletal system was basically screaming for mercy after years of performing high-energy choreography in those gravity-defying heels. It wasn't just one injury, it was a cumulative explosion of physical stress that finally caught up with her, proving that even Mother Monster is still a human being with real physical limits. There was also a deeper, more mysterious layer to the pain that fans couldn't stop talking about. Many experts pointed out the connection between past emotional trauma and physical agony in the body. Gaga has always been open about her mental health journey. The word on the street was that her recovery wasn't just about fixing her joints. It was a total body and soul renovation. She was working to heal her mind while simultaneously fighting the physical fire in her nerves. It was a dual battle fought behind closed doors as she tried to reconstruct her very foundation away from the flashing lights. Then came the era of chromatica. We were ready to dance, but then the delays started happening. The juicy tea was that Gaga's body still wasn't physically ready for the demands of a stadium tour. Rumors suggested she was terrified that jumping back in too soon would cause permanent damage. During this period, the gossip mill was working overtime regarding her secret recovery methods. We heard about specialized infrared saunas she used daily to penetrate deep into her tissues, and a team of trainers who followed her 24/7. She was basically becoming a bionic woman, using every piece of technology available to stay in the game. This is when the narrative truly shifted. She stopped being a victim and began to embrace the identity of a warrior. This total transformation of her persona felt both powerful and necessary. She wasn't hiding her struggle anymore. She was wearing it like shimmering armor. The chromatica aesthetic was the perfect metaphor for her own life. She was telling the world that even if she was hurting, she was still going to show up and fight. But the tension was still high. Could she actually sustain this level of energy for a world tour? Or was she just one wrong move away from a collapse? We were all holding our breath. The wait for the Chromatica Ball finally coming to an end was a miracle in the pop world. When the tour finally kicked off after years of health concerns, the atmosphere was thick with excitement and concern. Could she really do it? But from the second those massive screens lit up and the heavy bass thundered through the stadium floor, all those doubts evaporated. You guys, those visuals were absolutely out of this world. She wasn't just walking, she was commanding the stage like a galactic queen who had just conquered a whole new dimension. She looked fiercer, sharper, and more determined than we had seen her in an entire decade. It was the ultimate "I'm back" statement that echoed across the globe and silenced the critics who thought her performing days were over. Over on social media, the frenzy was almost impossible to keep up with. Every time she hit a high note or nailed a difficult dance break, TikTok and Twitter exploded with fans sharing clips and screaming their heads off. The Gaga is back narrative wasn't just a trend, it was a global celebration. Seeing those videos of the little monsters in the front row, weeping with joy as they watched their idol defy the odds, was enough to give anyone chills. And let's be real, we were all crying right along with them from our couches. It wasn't just about the music anymore. It was about the collective relief of seeing a beloved artist reclaim her life from a condition that tried to steal it away. The energy was contagious, and the world was officially reminded why she is the reigning queen of performance art. But wait, because the Joker era took things to an entirely different level of intensity. When it was announced she would be playing Harley Quinn in Joker, folie à deux, fans were both thrilled and a little bit worried. We all know how much she disappears into her roles, and Harley isn't exactly a low-energy character to play. There was so much speculation behind the scenes about how she would handle the physical demands of a movie musical while still living with her chronic condition. Insiders from the set whispered that she was a total powerhouse, balancing the grueling hours with a level of grace that stunned the crew. It seemed like she had found a secret rhythm, a way to channel her experiences with pain into the raw emotional energy needed for the character. She wasn't letting the illness define her, she was using her resilience to fuel her art. And then, just when we thought she couldn't top herself, she showed up at the Paris Olympics. Can we talk about that performance? It was a moment of pure triumph. Singing in the intense heat on those iconic stairs along the Seine, surrounded by feathers and dancers, she looked like a dream come true. It was a true testament to her recovery and her refusal to be sidelined by anything life threw at her. Performing on a world stage like that, under those physical conditions, proved to everyone that she wasn't just managing, she was thriving. It was a massive win for her, and for anyone who has ever been told that their health issues would limit their potential, she stood there as a beacon of hope for every warrior fighting an invisible battle. Of course, the LG7 rumors are what really have the internet in a chokehold right now. The speculation about her upcoming 7th studio album is reaching peak levels. Fans are basically playing detective all day, dissecting every single street-style photo for a hint of the new aesthetic. Is that a new shade of blonde? Are those boots a hint at a more industrial sound? The Little Monsters are convinced that this next era is going to be her most ambitious yet, and honestly, we are inclined to agree. The buzz is that she has been spending countless hours in the studio, pouring all of that warrior energy into a record that will redefine pop music all over again. So what do the insiders actually say about her health right now? The consensus seems to be that while she might not be cured, she has become an absolute master of her own biology. She has learned the delicate art of the balance, knowing when to go full mother monster and when to step back and let her body rest. She has built a lifestyle and a team that supports her career without sacrificing her well-being. With a massive new movie and a highly anticipated album on the horizon, it is clear that Gaga is unstoppable. She has turned her pain into a superpower. And she is just getting started. Leave your theories in the comments. Do you think LG7 will be a high-energy dance record? Is there anything that can actually stop Lady Gaga? Tell us